Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. LW Red could take it all here. The Overwatch Intel Extreme Masters Invitational could well be there. Someone nobody really would have guessed, looking at the changes, looking at the team suggested coming into this one. Lunatic-Hai, honestly, I would say big favorites probably coming into this one overall. Certainly fan favorites, no doubt about that one coming into this tournament. Finding themselves in real trouble here on the defense.
They're doing it again. They're going to do it again. They're
Yes,
all
they
emote
are.
around those phrases. I want to bring up a talking point since we have a little bit of time here before we do kick this off. The fact that we talked about like the double DPS comps that LW Red can do, the Tracer play with the Zenyatta, it takes a lot more synergy and mechanical skill across the team to meld well together to pull something like that off. If you play quad tank or triple tank, it's a lot easier to make mistakes and get away with them than it is with double DPS.
It's easier comp to play.
It is. It is. It's 100% easier to play. Obviously, when you play triple quad tank, you have to be really communicative to your team to pick off the right targets because you don't necessarily have the long-range damage you would hope for out of like a soldier, out of a tracer, whatever. So it's a lot easier to play, yes. But LW Red, I think, are just proving in general, like, even though there's 5 members of blue and 1 members of red, are to be the stronger team.
And this is a map that, you know, Lunatic-Hai, in my opinion, performed very, very well on back at APAC. And that's a long time ago, and a lot has changed since then. But they had a very good understanding of how Route 66 works here. We'll see if that manifests now as they approach on the attacking side. It's Lunatic-Hai in the red.
Eska trying to whittle down that shield already. You can see Janus, the cracks already appeared. Salbiobi this time not on the Tracer, not going for that flank, on the Hog once again to land those hooks, and he could be important ones as he lands straight away on Dean.
What do you do after that? You've lost your Ana in the fight, and now the rest of the fight continues. LW Red just going to press forward here, and this is very, very straightforward off the edge. Miro knew he'd lost the fight there, so actually getting a 1-for-1 trade is very beneficial for him. Jaehong going to throw himself over there, but not too bad for Miro to get something out of essentially nothing.
I love seeing plays like that. I think we were watching yesterday just saying, man up and charge someone off the map.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Who cares if we lose the map? You'll be a hero in my eyes.
We spawn closer as attackers here, so 1-for-1s are totally acceptable.
It is. It definitely is. And Jonas was able to get back. I think Gambler actually taxed him back to the front line to help him out. So they're pretty much exactly where they were before. Luna off to the side. He's staying away from his team because he knows if they do engage on the top side, it's going to be Jaehong to get in the midst of them. And when he uses the defense pitchers, he can mitigate a lot of healing. But look at that. Nanahana played on the high ground perfectly.
Well, Salbiobi that started things off last time, landing the hook on Dean. This time he's going to be working down. Nanahana gets the easy kill on Miro. That's going to be a second on towards Eska. There's a third, and that is just collecting kill count after kill count. Lunatic-Hai dropping once again.
Okay, so now Lunatic-Hai, in my opinion, are almost in the same position that AF Blue were. What are you going to do about the high ground control? What are you going to do about the 76? Are you just going to go for a hook? Are you going to trust Litation to do it all himself? How's Ru Jaehong going to factor into that equation? Because right there, we just saw Nanahana being given space, and he gets 3 kills immediately. But that bit of a misstep there. He was caught out by Eska.
Well, Eska's pushing on round, and there is a big ult advantage in favor of LW Red at the moment, but the payload staying pretty stagnant just under big ults. So
they're scared to save Yobi on the high ground because you have Miro pushed up this far. You don't have the shield to protect anyone from getting hooked. That's where you're seeing Dean get in Earl's gas station just to be protected.
Attack Visor not really netting any result there for Eska, so he's been forced back. Here's the earth shatter from Miro though. He's managed to collect himself Janus, gets around the side there. Salbiobi is the one that goes down, but Nanahana once again untouched up on high. Doesn't even need to use that ult. He's just going to force it back again.
Miro takes a big risk there by channeling that Earth Shatter while he's being knocked away with a whole hog, because you can't guarantee that you're actually going to be able to get that one down and catch everyone. You're being forced back, so the edge of that cone is getting further and further away from the enemy team. And it's telegraphed because it takes longer for you to hit the ground. You hear the sound cue, and then immediately that was enough time for Janus to put the shield down and at least stop himself from falling.
I really want to see Lunatic-Hai switch things up here, actually. Try to go for the really aggressive composition. Get the Winston, get the D.Va in there. Get some potential Genji action if you're able to pull this one off. Adaptation, because this isn't working. And Nanahana is just not being disrupted. He has so much free room to move, free room to attack on the high ground and save Yobi. This hook's just coming through, catching up targets left and right. You have to change something up. You have 50 seconds left. Your whole tournament life is put onto this map.
Biotic grenade going down. Is it going to be enough to keep them alive? The sound barrier being used as well. You can see Lunatic-Hai just using everything just to survive in the corner.
Well,
that's going to be a good self-destruct though. Janus though blocks it off with the shield nicely. Just exactly what he needs. Now Lunatic-Hai, they're getting the payload shifting, but there's not a great deal they can do. Another self-destruct comes down, this time from Miko. Doesn't catch anyone. Lunatic-Hai back themselves away around the corner. But there's only 30 seconds left.
Yeah, that's right. You can see Eska trying to make a difference here, but Litation Taejun falls to Sabiobi, and Nanohana has space to work. Again, never give this guy the opportunity now, the capacity to do things like this. Dean's going to be cut down now as well. Earthshatter doesn't connect around the corner. Nanohana was there, but still, Miro swinging the hammer. That's a huge play from him. Eska gets back in time now to keep the payload moving along.
Somehow they get saved from that one. Lunatic-Hai has no reason to actually take this checkpoint with how this has actually happened. Gambler's still stalling on this high ground. He's buying some time. But LW Red, are they going to get here in time? Gambler's going to fall down. I don't know if they're actually going to cross the line. Looks like they will. Got hyped up for nothing. But yeah, Miro, really big saver there. Like, Nanohana, we saw in that fight, he was not being attacked. He was getting so much free space. He killed Dean from above, and finally Miro's like, oh, I have to actually do something about you. And that's just something that AFBlue struggled on against yesterday when they played Lunatic-Hai Watch Point
I honestly feel that Lunatic-Hai took that by simply a mistake from Elder Red. Not by Lunatic-Hai playing well.
Not even that. They just went 1-for-1, or even less than that. But they won the fight because they were spawned closer. That was the only reason why. It's very, very hard for LW Red to actually hold out in that situation.
Well, tactical visor coming out from Nanohana once again. So he's going to try and force them back. There's only a minute on the clock, but he's already been chased down. This time he gets forced out of there. That could work out well. Eska, though, hooked straight in by Sabiobi on the flank once again. He'd already picked off Miro just before that. So Sabiobi making some serious work here. And Lunatic-Hai, they're in trouble until Taejun manages to get a hook back.
That second hesitation, actually, because he's like, I really want to shoot you, but I'm going to wait a second. I'm going to reload and get healed up before
he
that.
He positioned himself to block that, or to try and block the anti-healing coming in from Dean there as well, putting his body in the way. But then that caused him to get hooked in by Lee Taejun.
Yeah, well, you can see the payload making its way around, and despite Lunatic-Hai struggling early on, they've made themselves some pretty heavy ground
20
already
seconds.
with just a minute to go. 20 seconds to keep alive. You can see the nano boost ready and waiting to go. Launches it on. It went on to Miko. Boops one off the side, but he's not going to get the kill. Now he's got self-destruct, but it doesn't matter when he gets hooked in like that. He can launch the self-destruct around the side. Drops off the tac visor on Eska, and it's going to prevent Eska from doing a great deal of damage. He's going to have to get himself the parting field, try and keep himself alive, but does nothing with his ult.
He's just distracting him.
Yep.
Perfect stuff from Mecha there as well. He shuts down Eska. He had the tac visor. They could have made all the difference, but now self-destruct's going to go up there. Sabiobi's doing work on the ground. He gets another one here. Definitely the boss hog in this fight.
Well, cleared off. Overtime is going to be all that's left, and that is going to be Lunatic-Hai making a very, very minute distance, in all honesty, on Route 66.
So Meko there, how important that was for him and his team was he just stood, and not only Eska's face, but Dean's face, who's just becoming a disruption. And when you have Dean, who's hoping to be able to sit back, free heal the entire time, you throw him off completely. The front line gets thrown off then. When you have Miro, who is so dependent on an Ana player with his play style, you eliminate the threat of that. And then he forced Eska to be knocked off the high ground, to have to drop down with his tactical visor, then to be attacked from the backside, then Dean has to focus healing him, and then the tanks fall down. It's a snowball that you can't recover from.
On his own, Meko forced Dean to biotic grenade himself just to stay alive. He forced Eska to biotic field himself to stay alive. And I believe he forced a sound barrier out as well at the time, because Lunatic-Hai were worried about losing those key players. So just that one play forced 3 game-changing abilities out.
Thank you, LW Red. They saw what Lunatic-Hai really struggled with. They're switching things up again. They're playing the double DPS comp. They're playing their really aggressive in your face.
As you can get in Overwatch.
Dive,
Okay, to be fair, you could switch Luna like over to Pharah and then maybe even more divey, or Zarya and help out the team if you want to go that kind of route. No, yeah, this is going to be disgusting, and this is pretty much eliminating the threat of Eska. I feel like the fact that you're always in his face, he doesn't give him the free reign that Nanohana had, and we're again seeing Lunatic-Hai switch things up. So on the defense, it looks like they want to put Jae-Hong on the Ana, because he's a little bit more attuned to playing these high-pressure situations when people could be jumping in his face. And then, of course, you see Dean can be back onto the Zarya. So we talked about this on Hollywood, where we saw Jae-Hong go Zarya, and Dean was actually playing Ana. Well, we know Dean is fantastic Zarya player. He was, I don't know, he's not technically is anymore, the main Zarya player for the team.
Where's the 2-2-2 once again for Red, and Lunatic-Hai just seems to be confused, like this shouldn't be working against us, but it is.
I mean, that's the problem, is that Nanohana and Sabiobi individually are making a big difference. We've seen time and time again teams try and play this comp and not work. In fact, Lunatic-Hai tried something similar. They put Toby on the Tracer there as well and tried to have some dive. It just didn't look remotely as good. They even had Taejun on Genji, I think, on Hollywood on their attack. They soon switched. The difference here is LW Red's ability to use this comp more effectively.
Well, I like what you said, Mitch. Like, it's a lazy comp if you run like the 3-4 tanks. It can be lazy, because when you run this double DPS, this 2-2-2 setup of being really aggressive, any slight mistake you make, or anyone your team makes, will cause the downfall of you, and LW Red are just proving to be the better team.
It's higher risk, high reward.
Yeah. Well, Sabiobi has already got himself around the side, and Taejun forced once again to be on Selbiobi watch just around the back there. So what we saw, obviously, early on for Selbiobi, with his own hooks from on top, he had no pressure at all. We're already seeing the pressure
That's
out
not
of
good.
position, and they're already forced to drop down, and this is just going wrong already. LW Red pusher, there's going to be Tajan going down. Luna pushes through.
He misses 2 hooks and then gets caught out there. Not ideal. Even a bite of grenade dumped on him there as well to try and keep him alive, but it wasn't going to be enough. Now Nanohana pushing forward. You're giving these 2 space. You're giving these artisans of their craft all the tools they need to bring about your demise. It's Selbiobi and Nanohana ripping shreds off Lunatic-Hai, and they're going to be pushing very closely to that first checkpoint.
The focus fire out of them is just insane. They're going to get this checkpoint pretty much with no contest, I feel like, because Giannis just going to block them off. Actually, they are going to group up. They're going to have to go for it here because with so much time on the board, they have to eliminate some of this. And the question is, will they really have an opportunity to? Because they're still being forced back.
Yeah, they've got to be careful. They've got to realize that possibly there could have been a pulse bomb facing them. It did get launched out there. It doesn't manage to catch anything, but they will have to challenge it out. But it's a real lackluster effort, and you can see they're just getting cut to shreds by Nanohana as they push on through. Miko finds himself one. The primal range Ramiro, that's about all they got. All they've got to try and just buy themselves as much time as possible. You can see the 72-meter mark on the clock. That is all LW Red need to win the Intel Extreme Masters.
So, Lunatic-Hai, they pretty much just experience exactly what Rogue experienced. When you're in a tight place with the Dragon Blade available, you're not going to escape this one, and they're falling one by one. They're going to have the chance to contest this, but the problem is LW Red are just stomping all of this game. They're getting in the minds of Lunatic-Hai.
They're in the spawn point right now. They're completely in their faces. Miko goes heavy, and of course that's what you can do when you have the Winston, the Tracer, the I can't even remember, the Diva. There we go. That's why I can't remember Diva's been all over the place. That's just the pressure they're applying, and it's working so well.
Lunatic aren't being allowed to settle right now, and the fact is that Janus even has a Primal Rage. It's going to make it even harder for them to set up on that high ground. They've even got a sound barrier here. And Lunatic-Hai, Litation forced to switch to Tracer. He's now had to reset his ultimate here, and Nanohana's close to another Dragon Blade. We know what that can do. LW Red are so close to their goal. Their first land victory. Sound barrier comes out for Lunatic-Hai.
Sound barrier from both teams going to go down, but Toby's already been picked off around the side. Nanohana and Selbiobi are just too much for Lunatic-Hai to handle right now. The primal range from Miro, it's about all they've got once again, but the Transcendence is a simple reply from Luna, and he's going to get nothing but simple stall out time for the rest of his team to come around. Look at the time, 2 minutes 40 to reach, what, 2 meters, 3 meters at max. Lunatic-Hai are in no man's land right now.
That's right, and they're 1 by 1 on towards the point. Tasia getting done down by Luna. They're sitting over on the payload here. LW Red are inches away from their first land victory, and they've done it! LW Red, should I say, have taken the Intel Extreme Masters Overwatch Gyeonggi Invitational. They know how to play the current meta far better than Lunatic-Hai. Playing the Genji and the Tracer so well, there's nothing that Lunatic-Hai could do.
My question is now for you two, and for everyone out there watching, are we going to see LW Blue change rosters? Like, I see Nanohana and Selbiobi just play together, playing the Genji, playing the Tracer, working so well in these situations, focused targeting like this when they haven't had even that much practice coming into this event. That's hard. That's something that takes months and months and so much practice to actually pull off successfully, and they've done it against basically the best Korean team.
Well, I think Pine might have something to say about that, certainly, but Luxury Watch, certainly, you know, even when you throw a team together, and sure, they're sister teams, and sure, they practice in probably the same gaming house, I'm going to guess. I don't know whether they're actually in the same gaming house, but they must be close. Generally, they are, but when you throw a team together, you just never know really what you're going to get. But tears of emotion for the winners of the Intel Extreme Masters. It's Luxury Watch Red.
I think, as you said, Mitch, the first land victory, I think you can see what it means to them. Being able to pick this up for all their fans out there. It's tough to be the underdogs against the most popular team in Korea, but they sure as hell did it. They did it with style, and they did it in their own way.
Not only that, Jason, but for this team, this is utter vindication. They missed out on their opportunity to show the world what they were made of in the last season of OG and Apex. They fell just short in the qualifiers. It's a heartbreaking situation when everyone expected you to go through. They spent 2 seasons in Challenger working their way forward, and they've still got to qualify for Apex, but now they've silenced the critics. They've silenced everyone who said that they were just a bunch of pub stars, flashy players. They know how to play the meta. They completely had the wood over Lunatic-Hai every step of the way after that first match.
And you also need to look at the meta shift that's possibly happened there. Has LW Red revived the 2-2-2? Who knows? Could be just down to the perfect play from their team at the moment. But Lunatic-Hai, they just seemed a little lost at sea today. They didn't really seem the team that we saw in day 1 and day 2. They didn't seem to adjust correctly, and they stuck to the same old tried and tested methods.
That was the question we had, right? Was that Misfits looking bad, or was that Lunatic-Hai looking really good? And I think what we had was, it was just Lunatic-Hai, or it was just Misfits not playing well. It wasn't Lunatic-Hai playing out of their skin, it's just Misfits haven't melded well together as a team. And you know, we see the 2-2 comp. That's something that you cannot pull off as like a new team. And that's something that you cannot pull off if you don't have the flexibility with Sabiobi and Nanohana. You have to have two players who can switch around heroes like that and still play well.
Well, I know Soon and AKM are here. They feel vindicated as well, because they were like, we're cheering on LW Red because it's going to make us look good if we got knocked out by the champions.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And looking back over it as well, that we saw that Lijiang Tower map here wasn't even close. Lunatic-Hai did not look to even be on the map.
100% to 0.
And that's a huge temperature take of a team that has problems right now adjusting.
And Luxury Watch Red took advantage as well of something that we've known Lunatic-Hai to struggle with, and this is something we were told back at APAC when Rogue played them. If you get in their faces, if you get aggressive on them, they don't know how to deal with it, and that's exactly what Luxury Watch Red did. Aggressive composition, rush straight at you, and what are you going to do? They have not been able to fix that problem.
Well, Nanohana played many a hero throughout this one, but Sabiobi on Tracer was absolutely perfect. And this was the, I think actually right at the end of the first round, which netted them Lijiang Tower. They were untouchable on control maps.
Yeah, and again, they're playing compositions here which are ostensibly riskier, right? They're riskier to play a squishier comp. You have less of a health pool, but if you can trust in your players in the right position, this was massive as well. Sabiobi had an incredible tournament. When we saw the interview earlier on, we did see that, Luxury Watch Red said he is our secret weapon. He's actually from LW Blue, but they brought him in here instead of Pine, and he gave an incredibly good account for himself. And Nanohana, as per usual, he's known as one of the best DPS players in the world by some. Obviously, Genji, of course, is something he's known for, and he delivered on both of those counts.
The thing is, he's never had the opportunity to prove himself to the world too, right? Even the Korean players, the top Korean players say he's the best DPS player we have to offer. And to be able to show it on the stage, I think means so much to him, and also the victory as well, to get that nice crisp money in their pockets, and also the motivation into, what, they're the qualifier next week, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw certainly the writing was on the board for Lunatic-Hai there, as they struggled in overtime to close out the first point on Route 66, and Luxury Watch Red just did it in the first attack. It was easy.
I guess Sabiobi here as well. I mean, one of the big things we picked up about Misfits' old comp where they use Soon on Tracer is the ability to get those sticks with pulse bombs here. Sabiobi was charging pulse bombs up by shooting tanks, and then he dropped one on a tank if he had to, but sometimes in situations like that, you can see he and Luna combining so well. Makes it easy for the Tracer to cut through tanks when they have those Discord orbs on.
That triple kill at the end was insane out of him, and that's what a Zenyatta can do.
Well, we're going to have an interview on stage, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to try and translate it as
Our
best
Korean's
we
rusty,
can.
right? We're going to try to do it.
We've been working on it, but we'll see how it goes.
LW 레드의 선수들이 지금 무대로 남아 있습니다. 여러분, 다시 한번 우승 차지한 LW 레드에게 다시 한번 큰 축하의 박수를
Another round of
부탁드립니다.
applause to LW Reds.
네,
Thank you, I've been working on it. Yeah, had a few days here.
자, 우리
Just so good. So
지금
good.
선수들의 가슴이 어떨지, 기분이 어떨지 이런 걸 저희가 안 들어볼 수가
Ask them
없어서 제가
how
무대로 막
they're feeling
뛰어나왔습니다.
right now.
제 옆에 먼저
What's their
세벨브
mindset?
선수가 있어요.
Generally what they're feeling right now
세벨브
after
선수가 지금
getting
방금
this win.
인터뷰하기 전에 뭐라 그랬냐면 저희 여기 우승 하나
bet they're gonna say
나왔습니다. 이렇게 얘기를 했었거든요. 자,
They said before the match they were here to win today.
종목이 들어왔는데 거기에 첫 페이지를 우승으로 장식했습니다. LW 레드가요. 소감
It's the
어떠십니까?
first global stage they've been on. How do they feel now
자주 하는
standing
말이
on it
있거든요.
victorious?
신난다.
아, 이걸로 끝나는
Feel
것
so
같은데요.
excited.
아니 정말
It's also a little bit of revenge
트레이서로
for them as
세벨비
well
선수의
after that
역할이
4-2 loss
엄청났고
many months ago.
우리가 영상에서
Many
나노나
moves, many
선수가 그런 얘기를 했습니다. 세벨비를 중심으로 한 전략 이런 것들을 저희가 준비하고 있습니다 라고 얘기를 했었는데 이번
It
IEM에서
was
어떻게
talked
잘
before
보여준
they
것
were going to have a
같습니까?
strategy
그렇습니다.
revolving around
제가
Sabiobi.
팀 게임을 하면서
And it definitely looks like you guys really
보였어요.
used him as the centerpiece of that.
누구를
How do you feel that
보냐는
sort of
거를
fitted in that last
팀원들이
series?
잘 따라줘서 예, 우승을
I did lots of shot
가져갈 수
calling
있지 않나
and
생각합니다.
네.
all of my team just followed my orders, and that's how we were able to win.
선수는 오늘 제니아타의
And I'm not
활약이
joking, ladies
진짜
and gentlemen.
너무나
I am trying.
멋졌고
I've got a voice in my ear, so I'm
언제나
relaying
상대방이
it to you
뭔가를
guys
쓸 때
here.
초월로 그걸 다
Feel free to help,
성공시키는
boys.
이런
I thought you were
멋진
just great,
플레이.
mate.
근데 사실
Luna, your Zenyatta play was amazing. Transcendence was always on point.
Yeah, this is Luna, by the way.
다시 이렇게 제니아타를 열심히 쓰게 된
And with
어떤
Zenyatta
팀에서의
not being the most
계기
popular
이런 게
pick right now,
있었을까요?
was there a reason for your Zenyatta play?
처음에는 제가 많이 못해서
First of
기용을
all,
안 했었는데
I wasn't really good with
요즘에는
Zenyatta,
이상하게 좋더라고요. 그래서 조금 많이 기용을 했던 것 같아요.
and somewhat Zenyatta's
그게
slowly coming back into the meta.
난
And I feel
오늘
like he's
1등
viable right
공신이었다.
now, and I had a
이렇게
chance
자신
to
있게
work
얘기할
on
수
that.
있을 것 같습니까?
당연하죠.
think that was one of the
힐러가
biggest
없으면
factors of
딜러들이
today's
잘
victory.
못하잖아요, 팀원들이.
야,
Of course, without a support, DPS can't do anything, he
받쳐주니까 얘네들이 딜을 넣을 수
But
있는
that's
거야.
very
이런
interesting because
느낌.
we've barely
자,
seen
그리고
any
옆에
Zinga
야누스
so
선수
far.
있습니다. 자, 야누스 선수 오늘 정말 라인하르트로
Yeah, this is gonna be Janus, by the way,
그거
the
오늘
tank.
보여줬는데
Yep.
전체적으로 오늘 야누스
Amazing
선수가
Ryan Hart,
제가
he had some amazing
이누님,
plays.
누나가 본
Great
느낌으로는
there too.
최고의 경기력을 보여주지 않았나 하는 생각이 드는데 본인
As I
어떻습니까?
said, I think you had one of the best matches in your career today. What do you have to say about that?
긴장해가지고 제 기량을 100% 발휘하지 못한 느낌이었는데
It's pretty nervous coming into the last match, but wasn't in his best shape.
잘하겠다고.
But today's
그래서
promise to his fans that
그러면
he will do his
팬
best,
여러분들께
and
한 말씀
I think
하세요.
we could
네,
agree.
약속 지켰습니다. 한
He did
말씀.
some pretty damn
제
impressive,
약속
wasn't he?
지켰습니다.
She's asked him
다음에 더
if he's had a
잘할게요.
shout out to his fans at all.
네.
And he says he
팬
promises
여러분들이
that I'll
박수를
pay you
지금
guys back
보내주고
and we'll do even
계시는데요.
better next time.
자, 갬블러 선수가 옆에 있습니다. 사실 이번
Watch out,
Onto
Apex.
Gambler now.
어제
Onto
그저께
Gambler.
각각 승리를 거둘 때마다 갬블러 선수의 그
Every time you won, Gambler, you were
것들이 굉장히 카메라에 많이 잡혔었거든요.
hugging so hard with your teammates, getting very excited. Was it exciting for you in general, the game?
팀의 흥망이 갈려갖고 그럴 수밖에 없어서 더
This match had a lot at stake for us.
그래요.
And every single match when we won, he was just overjoyed.
누구에게 팀
For good reason,
관계자에게
too.
아니면
Well, I mean, Lucio
선수들에게
players,
뭐라고
they got to hug
얘기해주고
their players.
싶습니까?
That's your job. That's your job.
저희
Do you have any shout-outs to your staff and your teammates? She asks him.
고맙다는 얘기를 하고 싶고요. 그 다음으로는
Okay, so they are
팀원들
in a
다
team house, by the way,
코치님,
guys.
그리고
Yeah, he's basically saying in our team house we've got a lot of teammates sort of watching and our staff watching right now.
지금
So
울컥하는
big shout out to
것
everyone
같은데.
back at the team house and thank you for your support.
야,
And
역시
she asks him, "Are you about to cry right now?" He says, "A little bit, but I'm trying to hide it."
That's a bit harsh. It's like, you could cry. Go on.
Well, this man was, Nanohana.
Oh.
어떻게?
This is Nanohana here.
Nano
the
I
one
mean,
crying.
he's been suffering through wrist injuries, right? So it has to mean a lot.
Yeah.
She asks him, "Are you able to give an interview right now?"
네, 여러분 박수 한 번만 보내주세요.
Round of applause she calls for Nanohana. He's been playing since
너무
challenges and he's had a
힘들었죠.
wrist injury he has
손목
had to
부상
fight
때문에
with.
게임도 못
His
하고
journey has been
그래서
long and
내가
hard.
선수 생활 계속 할 수 있을까 없을까 너무너무 힘들었죠.
So,
He was actually
Yeah.
doubting whether he could continue as a pro gamer.
그리고 제가
So it was very tough for
오프라인
him.
예선에서 2부로 내려가는 그런
And when they were doing the qualifiers.
정말 서러웠고요.
They went down to Challenger and they realized they couldn't get into Apex.
부상 다음으로 처음 출전하는
And then with the wrist injury.
오프라인 대회 국제 대회였기 때문에 더 긴장감이.
And this was his first offline match for him.
이렇게 결승까지 올라.
And he was very nervous.
우승까지 했기 때문에.
And getting to the finals, becoming the champion,
이 팀원
he's
갬블러가
so
말했듯이
happy right now.
저희 팀의 행방이 걸리는 경기였는데요.
As Gambler said, had a lot at stake for them.
이 팀원들하고 계속 갈 수 있다는 거에 정말 고마워요. 모든
And he's so glad.
집에 있는
that he can continue playing with all of his team.
팀원들에게도 고맙고요. 연습같이 도와줘서.
He wants to give a shout out to his teammates back in the team house.
what an all-star
지금
performance for a guy that's
그래도
it's his
물먹을
first
먹으면서 그래도 할
offline
말을
event
하고
with the
있어요,
pressure
우리가.
that's been on him.
얼마나
That is
미친 게 많았으면 얼마나 힘이
such an
들었으면.
all-star performance from
자,
Nanohana.
이렇게
She
팬
says
여러분들이
he's
그래도
crying, but he's pretty much
축하해주고
saying
뜨거운
everything that he
박수
needs to with
보내주고
this
있는데
I want to go hug him on
내가
stage.
선수들 때문에 게임하면서 너무
She's thanking the crowd for
힘들었고
supporting
또
LW
팀의
Red as
운명이
well
또
as
어떻게 될지 모르고 이런 우여곡절을 많이 겪고 또 내가 일부 리그 못 올라가서
Nanohana
자존심도 많이
had some
상했고
rough times
그럼에도
coming
불구하고
into this
오늘
stage of
IEM
IEM.
우승하고 나니까
Couldn't even play for a
나
whole
진짜
month.
게임하길 잘했다
Yeah.
이런 생각 듭니까?
듭니다. 예.
She's asking, are you glad that you became a pro gamer? He says yes, of
태어나서
course, and he really wants to thank
이렇게까지
everyone.
울어본 적이 있어요?
She asks him, did you ever cry this much in your
기쁘게
lifetime?
울어본 적은 없는 것 같아요.
그러면 나나와
I
나의
never
지금까지
cried
인생에
this
있어서
much
오늘 가장
happiness.
기쁜 날입니까?
네.
Is this the happiest day of your life?
지금 옆에서 게임블러는
he
계속 신나서
responds,
옆에서
"Yes,
막 웃고
certainly."
있는데 자 그래요 이제 앞으로 팬 여러분들께 지금까지의 고생은 마음고생은 다 했다 이제 앞으로는 우리
Through all
유행어처럼
those
꽃길만
hardships.
걸으면 된다 이렇게 생각할 수 있을 것 같은데 팬
now
여러분들께
you have the spotlight on
나나나로
you. You
이제
can
더
walk on
멋진
that
모습
street,
보여주겠다
that straight, bright path. Sorry. Do you have a shout out to your fans?
제 부상은 거의 완치됐다고 보셔도 무방하고요.
I'm almost
네.
completely recovered
내일
from his wrist
있을
injury.
최강전에서
brilliant news.
제가 할지는 모르겠지만
And next week, they'll be at Apex
LW
Super Week.
레드로 다시 참여하기 때문에 좋은 모습 꼭 보여드리고 싶고요. 예. 다음
And he's gonna do well at that
시즌2에서
also.
Keep
더
your eye on
멋진
that one. He's gonna be
모습
playing Kongdu
준비해서
Panthera as well,
돌아오도록
aren't they?
하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
네.
And in Apex Season 2, we'll try to be as good as possible.
인터뷰를 우리
And
메코 선수가
thank you to
기다려서
everyone.
Oh, we're already saying they're going to be in season 2. I like the
Yeah.
confidence.
That's good. So they should, to be fair,
지금
after this
LW
performance.
블루 선수들 중심에
And before we
주축에
go
지금
to
나노하나
Meko.
선수만 오늘 들어온 거잖아요. 그러면서 LW
played
레드라는
brilliant on the last
이름으로
map.
들어왔는데
Nanohana
그래서 아무래도 기존에 있던 멤버들 사이에
came into
본인만
somewhat of
혼자
an
이렇게
LW
들어오는
blue
거니까
team.
조금 그럴 수도
Talking
있었을
about the
것
fact that
같은데
this is
누가
mostly
제일
LW
잘
blue, I
챙겨주고 누가 제일 또 반겨주고 잘 해주든가요?
저희 서포터 두
Who was
명이
the best teammate that really took care of you as you sort of fit into LW
종렬이
blue?
형도 정말 같이 게임 이야기 많이 했고요. 메코는
So it says the two supporters actually
이번
supported
IEM
him
대회에서
in game and out
가장
of game,
스타가 되지 않았나 싶어요.
taking care of him,
야 돌아가면서
keeping the
다
atmosphere up,
짚어줬어요.
and he wants to thank them.
그리고 마지막 결승에서 대박공 많이 터뜨려서 야누스에게 정말 고마워.
빠지면 서운할
Especially
뻔했죠.
Janice.
자 이렇게 해서 다또
Having some incredibly good
다
shatters in the end.
고맙다 이렇게 또 얘기를 해줬네요.
Good,
자
we
이제
did. They were
마지막으로
fantastic
이번
throughout.
대회의
It's been,
스타가 될 것
very
같아요라고
impressive.
야누스
So
finally move on to
선수가
Meko
짚어줬었던
here.
He
우리
was playing
메코
diva
선수입니다.
predominantly throughout this
이번에
one.
어제 그제 계속해서 디바로 너무나 멋진 모습 보여줬었잖아요.
She says-
본인 플레이 어떻게 만족합니까?
네,
Your diva play.
네,
Are you
끝입니까?
satisfied? And Johnny, are you satisfied with your diva? He says yes. I'm fully satisfied.
그럼 그동안은 좀 만족이 안 됐었던가요?
네, 아무래도
So are you
디바
not satisfied
버프된 지가
before?
별로 안 돼서 연습을 별로 안 했었는데 이번에 메타가
Hasn't been
바뀌고
too
나서
long since
디바만
Diva got
연습했던
buffed.
것 같아요. 거의.
그래서 이제는
So I only
뭐
played Diva
인생 영웅을
during all that
찾은 건가요?
practice time. So
네,
not even primarily Diva
예전부터
player
쭉
originally.
디바.
알겠습니다. 계속해서 저희
Okay.
눈여겨볼
Never
거고요.
mind.
자 이제 마지막으로 메코
Says
선수가
after the patch, Diva feels a lot better than before.
이제 시작인 거잖아요.
You gotta think,
LW
of course,
레드로
remember that
계속해서
Diva
이제 1부 리그도
on the
올라가고
defense
더 멋진 곳에서
against
더 좋은
Lunatic-Hai.
곳에서 우승 차지해야 되는데
She
우리
says,
팬
LW
여러분들께
Red, this might be the start of
마지막으로
your
각오한
prime time
말씀
as a team.
들려주십시오.
Do you also have any last words for your
열심히
fans?
해서 한 걸음 더 나갈 테니까 끝까지
We're gonna try our
지켜봐
best.
주시면 감사하겠습니다.
네,
This is just the start.
고맙습니다.
We're gonna take one step
자,
at a
이렇게
time.
해서
And thank you everyone for watching and supporting us.
Well,
8년
absolute
만에
fantastic stuff.
한국에서
Good words
개최가
from the
되는
whole team there.
IEM 경기
Deserved
2016
champions, I think you'll find from the
처음으로
Intel Extreme
오버워치
Masters.
종목이
here
들어왔는데요.
in
그 오버워치
Gyeonggi
종목의
Yeah.
첫
in Korea.
우승
Great bunch of guys.
레드로
Certainly a team to watch,
결정됐습니다.
definitely going
다시 한번
forward, both
진심으로
red
축하의
and
말씀을
blue
드리고
in the Apex
준우승입니다만 그러나
Championships,
멋진
which will be
모습
starting soon.
보여줬던
So keep your eyes on that
루나틱하이에게도
one.
역시
Obviously, with
박수를
Montido and the
보내고
OGen.
싶습니다. 자, 이렇게
That's right, and
오버워치
hopefully that
종목의
interview was
결승전을
understandable for you
보내드렸고요.
guys. It's
잠시
obviously
후에
being relayed to us, and we're trying to sort of speak it as we get it in there. It's still obviously confusing as we're talking while listening, but I mean, pretty awesome stuff.
Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That is it from Overwatch here in Gyeonggi. We'll see you next time.